What is up, everybody? It's Joe from JLW Games coming at you with another cool video back in Planet Coaster in the one and the only Time City. And today we're going to be finishing up the layout of the flying coaster in the Sci-Fi section, and also we're going to be doing some custom supporting and actually get it going on the transfer track within the flying coaster as well. So I started to come up with a new method of smoothing out or creating heartline rules, and after a moment here I forgot. I was like, wait a minute, there's not really heartline rules in an inverted track, really. Most of them I don't think have heartlines, so I actually went without a heartline in this in the end. So I ended up just smoothing it in normal way without trying the heartline trick that I've been working on. So I do have a video on that coming very soon after I get it completely perfected. I will share that with you guys. It is actually a great way to create a new heartline within any kind of track that you want to do, and it's actually really good, and no banking offset required. It's a very simple trick, and it turns out pretty smooth for the most part if I do it right. So still kind of working on the exact kind of smooth method that I need to do to make that a reality and making it perfect, but it will come along quite nicely. This roll took me a little bit because it was, at first I was like, oh, it's not gonna have that much speed, but it has a little bit too much speed at the end, so I decided to go ahead and make it go up into the roll so it doesn't have as much speed coming out of it, and it's a little bit more of an appropriate thing. So this coaster actually turned out really nicely, and it is going to break some records for flying coasters. It's going to be the longest flying coaster in the world. It's going to be the fastest flying coaster in the world. It's also going to have the flying coaster with the most inversions. I wasn't expecting it to break all those, and it also has the height record as well. So it pretty much breaks every single flying coaster record out there, which is kind of a neat little thing that Time City can say. And I built this in a very unique way, thinking, you know, oh, I think this is possible, but at the same time, it's not really been done before. So that's kind of the mood that I always have with some of my coasters sometimes. If I want to make a unique ride, but at the same time realistic, I get a little judged sometimes for that. So I wanted to create this really interesting drop, as you saw in the last episode, which you kind of saw. You didn't actually get to see it, but unless you were there live. So I created this little trench area, this little diving spot. This is gonna be a cool little effect area. It's gonna have water on the inside of it, and it's also going to have a little splash effect as the train goes by. So that will only operate in the summer when it's warm. When it's cold, or a little bit colder out, they will turn that off. That's the idea behind it, but creating a little bit of a nice triggered effect, which is actually always kind of cool. So anyways, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of cool stuff with this ride. It's going to be fully custom supported, which I guess is kind of evident since I didn't do the supports in the first place. So yeah, it's going to take probably a couple episodes before I get done fully with the supporting and everything. So I went with just a little bit of supporting, and I also did the transfer track in this episode. So the transfer track I'm very proud of. It looks really good, and I'm really happy with that, the way that works. And we add a little bit of ambient effects in this trench as well. I thought it'd be kind of neat. So the biggest question I'm having right now, the reason why I haven't custom supported the lift hill just yet, I've held off on it, is I'm trying to figure out if I want to have it enclosed with some cool effects or not. I love the way this coaster looks without it, and I think enclosing it, it would kind of look similar to, you know, like the Incredible Hulk coaster at Universal, or Islands of Adventure. So do you think it would be okay with that look, or do you think I should leave it open? I would love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. It could really help me out if I can figure that out sooner rather than later. I don't know exactly what to do at this point. I was originally intended to have an enclosed lift hill, but I'm having second thoughts after seeing the lift hill from the parking lot. It makes it look really good. I really like the look of it as of right now. So anyways, I would love to hear what you guys think about that situation. So right now, I usually like to build rocks around trenches like this because you can see how the terrain's kind of edgy and pointy in some spots, so I kind of want to cover that up. So we're going to use a lot of natural stuff like rocks, bushes, and anything that we can to kind of get that covered up to make it look a little bit nicer. And once we get all the foliage and stuff done over there, that will be pretty good. So that's kind of what we do here. And then one of the biggest challenges I had in sort of this drop is kind of how would the supports look. That was kind of an issue I was trying to figure out, is how the supports would look, because there's not really a drop lot, I don't think, that starts like that in the world. I think it's possible, and I see the G's in the game, and it's pretty possible. It doesn't go past 5 G's, so I think it's actually kind of something that could be possible on a flying coaster. Also, we had to go in here and kind of smooth out the terrain, because it is going to use the terrain a little bit on this ride, which is nice. Because you get a lot of close to the ground flyby moments that are kind of cool. And we also recolor it. I wanted to make it a different color here, so I kind of went with reverse Banshee almost, with the blue track and the like hot pink purplish kind of supports. I wanted it to kind of resemble maybe like a galaxy kind of colors or something along those lines, so that's why I went with the color scheme that I did. We don't exactly have a name for this ride just yet, so we'll see how that goes. And this custom supporting always takes quite some time, and it's going to be interesting to figure out all the different custom supporting that we're going to be doing with this, because there's going to be some tough parts, like the after the drop, the first element after the drop is going to be interesting to support because there's a lot of track in around that outside of it, so it's going to be kind of tricky to figure out support structure that will support that properly without interfering with the other track around it. So that's going to be kind of a challenge, but anyways, we do support this entire first drop and everything. That's pretty much what we do for custom supporting within this episode. It actually turned out a lot better than I thought it would, because again, this element hasn't appeared on a coaster that I know of, and if it was to appear, I definitely could see it on a flying coaster. As you can see, it's kind of like a pretzel loop with the way it's kind of set up, so I find that kind of interesting. I'm also in the process of deleting almost all of my toolkit items except for the dinosaurs and different stuff that I kind of think is necessary, so my game will have better performance and I don't have to worry about as many crashes, the game freezing, and everything like that. I'm gonna try and get rid of a lot. I actually went through and deleted even more of them. I'm gonna try and get it down to like probably less than 20 items if I possibly can. I think I'm going to keep the air ducts and the dinosaurs for Time City, of course, and that's mainly about it. And maybe a few other items like some signs and stuff that could actually help out quite a bit as well. So lately I've been having a little bit of a frame rate issue with Bandicam, so if you guys have any suggestions on how to help that, anytime I record Planet Coaster and normal time, it's kind of freezes or gets really choppy at times, and I can't figure out what it is. Maybe I just have the frame rate set incorrectly. Maybe I need to match the frame rate better on what's on screen. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know exactly. I can't figure it out. So if you guys have any help with me on that, I would love to hear it, because it's really affecting how I'm trying to create the cinematics and everything of my rides and stuff, because it's hard to create cinematics when you can't create them properly. I had some cool ideas. I was doing some test footage and I couldn't do it right, so I'm trying to create some cool 4K videos for you guys, cinematic videos, and I'm kind of left in a little bit of don't know what to do kind of situation because of it, because it's kind of not working the way I was hoping. So anyways, this structure was kind of cool. Like, this big support at the top was the one I was kind of worried about that would look kind of weird, but I thought it turned out okay. And I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments. I love hearing your guys' feedback on what it is, how it looks. And then as for the lift hill, I think we created enough support on that first drop to where we can just do the overhead supports for the rest of the of that spot. So I think we create one of those supports by the end of it anyways. It does have greens across the board for its ratings, so it is a really good flying coaster rating wise, and it is fantastic. I am very excited for this ride, and this is kind of like pretty much the last outdoor coaster that we were creating. So it's kind of sucks because we won't be probably building another coaster until the park gets another edition someday down the future, and who knows when that will be. So anyways, park is starting to come together. We have roughly a little over a month until my deadline kind of starts kicking in. Like I said, I gave myself kind of like a 3-month deadline, so I have a little bit of wiggle room in there. It's going to be opening between March and May is kind of where I want to be, so it can open in March, April, or May, somewhere around there. If it gets past May, that's where we kind of get a little bit into panic mode, and we might have to push it sometime in the summer, and if it doesn't happen then, we might have to push it down into the fall. It just kind of depends where we're at. I don't think we'll go all the way to the fall. I think at the latest, if we are a little bit delayed opening, it'll be summer, which is okay, because I know the park wouldn't want to miss summertime, because that's where parks usually get their most business, is during the summer, when all the kids are out of school and everything like that, and that's just kind of how it works. So we do these final little supports here under the trench area, or the little effect area is kind of cool, and that's kind of where we complete our supporting for this episode. Again, supporting is kind of a nice or pretty time-consuming kind of job when it comes to supporting a coaster, but it will definitely all be worth it in the end, because the custom supports are so much better looking than the in-game supports, because you can kind of do whatever you want with them, and it's really helpful for that matter. But anyways, again, this is the spot where we get into the awesome, beautiful transfer track that I'm excited for, because I've never done a transfer track for a flying coaster before, or just in that case, really an inverted coaster. I haven't really created one, so I thought this was going to be kind of an interesting take on it. So I was going to be like, okay, this will be cool, and it actually turned out quite nice, as you'll see here in just a few moments. So it's pretty much the same thing, except you just go inverted, right? So I went with the suspended coaster supports. I use these a lot for my transfer tracks. I think they just work well for iron work. So with that result, I usually use them quite a bit, and it works very, very well. So everything I have just goes underneath, and then we'll also put a catwalk kind of structure underneath it under everything as well. Because once you have inverted track transfer tracks, they're kind of a little bit crowded. There's a lot to them. There's a little bit more structure there than usual, because there's also usually a walkway underneath as well. It's just very crowded and big, and uses a lot of steel, it seems like. So it's kind of cool. So I was very excited to see how this turned out, and I was actually very pleased of how it ended up turning out. And we also, since there's a little support structure pieces at the top of this, I was like, why not make another catwalk at the top of this for funsies, kind of like an overview spot of the transfer track that they can look at the top of the beams if they needed to or something like that. Just a nice little maintenance access points for the transfer. So with that being said, I had to put a nice little door here so they could get to the spot, and it turned out quite nice. I haven't detailed the building itself, or the transfer building, or the maintenance bay building, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna have to detail that, and then I realized, well, I got to get track in here too, for the transfer area. So it looks like there's actually track available in that spot, so we get that completed, and it looks pretty awesome. So love to hear what you guys think in the comment section below of what you think of this coaster. Should we enclose the lift? Should we not? I want to hear from you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. That's about it. So make sure you guys have a great day and an even cooler tomorrow, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode or video. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Join the Discord. Links down in the description for all that, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks, and goodbye.